The Second Wind Sports Media and DMV Boxing Legend would like to introduce to you our new sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, El Paso Mexican Restaurant, located at 6151 Richmond Highway, Alexandria, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have El Paso Mexican Restaurant. Also, if you're looking to pregame every fight night, amateur or pros, come out to El Paso Restaurant. They will guarantee you a discount. All you have to do is say you that DMV Boxing Legend and the Second Wind Sports Media sent you, you will get a discount.
Good evening, infidels. Sorry, I had to do that. I had to do it. So good. Oh man, it feels good to be back. But I needed that time off, man. It feels so good to be back. All the love I got, the messages from y'all, like, yo, come back, man. You good, Yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about when you come back. Yeah, I do. Good God Almighty, bro. I'm mad, but first, before we get started, shout out to Rob Vegan, DMV Boxing Legend, Second Wind Sports Media, all my sponsors, Charm by Shay, um, Big Roy. I still gotta come by. I ain't been by in a minute. I gotta come by, especially now the camp is over. I gotta come by. And shout out Jonathan from Thump Yard. I'll be in the house on the 25th. Like always, Jonathan always keep me busy, man. He always like, nah, man, I need you to do the commentating. So I will be there on the 25th, man. All right, now that we got that out the way. What the hell? Why is it every time I take like a week off just to go get tranquil and all of a sudden some mess happens? We gotta talk about Big Baby. We gotta talk about Bud's fight. Okay. All right, cool. Bud. All right, cool. No, that ain't work. All right, cool. All right, we got, and I'm gonna have my uncle slash producer who's in the background right now. You're gonna have to help me keep up with. We got Big Baby loss, Bud decision slash Canelo. And what else? Okay, all right. Angelo Leo, he wound up smoking his guy last night. Okay, all right, cool. Not bad, right. All right, cool. All right, then we got Virgil Ortiz. Yeah, that happened. All right, I'm gonna put that there. Well, I feel like one of them old beat writers from the 50s when they in the dressing room with the fighter afterwards and they got that little pad, they going fast as hell. All right, cool. Virgil Ortiz. All right, cool. What else? Caleb Plant getting into it with Edgar Berlanga. All right. Yeah, man. Another. Everything else, y'all know I just let it flow most of the time, all right? And that right there is the most that I plan these shows. That's about it. That's the first thing I just start going. So, all right, let's do this. Anybody expect that with Big Baby? Not saying I thought he was gonna like just blow through Bacoli like he blew through everybody else, but I didn't think he was gonna lose like that. I really honestly, I swear on everything, I didn't. I did not. I never. We at the hotel, right? Me and Big Suge. Shout out Big Suge, man. Happy birthday, girl. And shout out to my Hillcrest bloodline getting a belt, getting a first taste of professional championship, man. And it's crazy because Trey posted this thing, Frankie posted it. Frankie showed me, like, I gotta repost it. He was like, Julia told me, you said this, break him down, torture him, and everything, and he talked about the fight. Like, I appreciate that, man. I think he kind of knew something wasn't up with his opponent because usually when I text him about a fighter and going into a fight or I'm backstage with him, hey, do this, do like we working on whatever. This time it was more or less, I ain't do none of that because I could look at the guy and I could look at his mental make. I'm like, this dude just a bully. You're not gonna get a big knockout on him. It's gonna be you break him down and then he's gonna take a knee and he's gonna quit. And he gonna look up at you and he gonna quit. And that turns out that's like one hand I never get she was right there watching the tape. She was like, he's not gonna get up. And I'm like, he's not getting up. And then Trey, everything that's been built up in that boy, because a lot of circumstances leading up to that fight. I mean, not just that fight. I mean, all the way up to that fight, from 0-0, from amateur all the way up. Man, I came out that night with that boy, man. I mean, it's crazy. Like well up with tears. Like, just tip my hat to my guys, man. And then I was away. The country got big. You got Big Suge's birthday and everything, man. I tip my hat to because you got so many people like, man, that's a boxer's wife right there. How she look at you, man. It's like it's like looking at your father and your mother all over again. It was like that feels good, man. I appreciate that one. But we were at the hotel and we watching it. I went, coach, yo, what the heck? And that was like, oh, he is hurt. Like, I mean, I'm literally had it on my, basically linked my phone up to the big screen in the hotel. I saw it, switched it back to my phone, ran out, boom, 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 boom. Yo, hard work. Look, man. And you said that's because of how they set him up, and that just real cool looked at the gentleman. Man, come on, they set him up at Top Rank. I said, what? He said, man, this boy hitting him with stuff like George Foreman, man. This boy hitting him with stuff, and he can't hit him so hard he can't even think to what he wants to do next. And I didn't catch on to it at first, because at first I'm watching, I'm thinking, nah, he doing, he's trying, and he was trying. He went out on his shield. But if you watch how Bakoli was walking him, Bakoli was hitting him like it was a double end bag. He wasn't even like turning into it was just snap off shoulder, snap off shoulder. He wasn't like turning his hips. He wasn't dropping into the brick and none of that. As I'm watching this, I'm like, and I see his head pop, pow, snap back. I was like, oh my God. And then as he got up, I'm hating that people trying to say Big Bang wasn't in shape. No, he was in shape. Because if he wasn't in shape, he wouldn't have lasted as much as he lasted. He wouldn't have been able to dig deep the way he dug deep and try. And he would have really been, he would have been hurt worse. He would have been, like, those shots would have hurt him worse. He still had the cognitive wherewithal of where he was at the whole time. But he kept doing this, like, pulling and doing that. I'm like, why are you pulling that way for? If you want to dip, cool, but don't put his head, because the way what I thought was that this is where you being as nimble as you are comes into play more than you probably needed your career. Because the way Bakoli was walking to him, straight to him and just muscling him, okay, the one thing that Big Baby can do that a lot of them heavyweights cannot do, he could slide here and step. He could sit there and pull here and step. So why not pull, and step? Boom, boom, boom. Move out. 2, don't do no foul shots unless you know you landed something flush and he froze. And you land 2 or 3 more. 2, 3, get out of there. 2 shots, maybe 3, get out of there. Same sequence. Every time you get wild, boom, boom, stop, boom, wow, boom, 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 boom. Because there's a drill that's for people who are casual watching. There's a drill in every gym where it's either a step ladder, like a step stool right here, or it's full tape squares on the ground. And they tell you, I want this for a whole round, for 3 rounds. Boom, boom, boom. You just switching and switching and switching. and switching, and switching. Then you might do it for a round or two. Then they say the next 2 rounds, I want a body shot. And you go, huh? Boom, huh? Boom. It's the same thing. It's the same thing over and over again. Then you start adding your own little things to it. Like, okay, I like unders and overs. Wow. Boom, boom. Come over time. All right. Wow. Boom, boom. All right, cool. I'm going to double hook it when I go there. All right. All right. Boom, boom. All right, this way I'm going to go. Boy. Boom, boom. Under, over. I didn't see him do none of that. Like, really, I really believe the way. I mean, he was hitting Bacoli with some body shots that Bacoli wasn't even like. You see some guys, for instance, right? Perfect example is Floyd when he fought Chico. Chico walking through them body shots at first, but you saw like a little tuck, like a little tuck every time you touch him, walking through it, walking through it. Right in 4 or 5 minutes stabbing him, you start seeing him. Next thing you know, man, start bending all the way over. I was gonna tell you, I mean, bending all the way over. I'm like, God, see, that just starting to feel like a pole. And because those are body shots that little do you know, it might only take, it ain't gonna be no big liver shot, but it ain't gonna take 60% of damage off the opponent. But it could take 10 to 15, and depending on how strong the person is, 25. And if it keep landing the way it want to land, you wind up chipping away at somebody. I did that one time in sparring. I was like, oh man, he's slowing down. And I was able to get it to the pace I wanted to, especially with my circumstance. I was able to, and he really enjoyed the work, and he invited me back, and I appreciated that love from him. But you could do that, and you can use that jab to buy you time. You use that type of jab when you stab a guy. Like, can you imagine if he would have? And then if you really get him looking at it, one of the tricks my dad used to do, right? And you could look at the tape of Roy Jones doing it to a guy. My father would sit there, and he wouldn't do this and stab. My father would go. He would go like this and walk you and walk, and then he'll go back over the other way. And he'll flick it up like it's like, and like a lot of style. He'll put a lot of style on it, right? Like it's like you playing with your, like you're playing with your kid or your little brothers. And the whole time you looking at it. So you first thing you do, you go, pop, pop. But then he does it again, and the mistake you make is you do this, pop, pop, and you move it. And the mistake you make is you do this to move it, but you didn't do this. Pop, pop, pop. Like bring it, rotate it back up, and then that's all you need. And then next thing you know, and he starts to hook off the jab. But Roy, before bring it back up, he'll go fat, wow, and then boom, and hook off the jab. And we try to make it like a light on, light off type of thing. Roy would do it like he gets you looking at it, and then as soon as he did it, when he felt like he got you baiting, he would get it about right here. And as soon as you do this, because you thinking about his speed and him touching you again, and then he'll go boom, and then he leaps in with a big wide hook. And next thing you know, you trying to pick yourself up off the back pocket. You got other fighters in the stand seeing what type of grip on your shoes. But anyways, I would have loved to have seen Big Baby do that exact thing. All right, damn, I can't keep doing this in and boom, boom. All right, I need some time. I need some time, man. All right, you know what? Let me start stabbing him to the body. And then that give me, because that pole is almost like stopping the person from coming in. And that gives you time to where you step your right foot out. You gone. You know, boom, boom, wow, and you walk. Oh, boom, walk, and then back over to the left. And you got like, you can milk the clock a little bit. You can play with the clock a little bit. And then, you know, if you needed to keep that long range, that would be a thing to buy some time and then throw that hook or whatever. And then as soon as he think that, okay, I ain't dealing with this mess no more, start trying to grab your glove and move it. Or it's this is a little dirty trick, but you still got pros to do it today. But it's dirty, but it's not considered dirty. But what they do is my father did this to me. I'm gonna sing some guys do this. This guy keeps stabbing you, right? And you start to catch the timing on it a little bit. Do this. Just that. And your elbow right here will come down either right here or right here. And next thing you know, they pull their hand away. Oh, it ain't hurt now. You fool. I hurt this one, tear this muscle, bone bruise it, or deep muscle bruise it. And now they all of a sudden they don't want to do it as much anymore. That's a big way to get away with things, you know. So when Big Baby was in that, he was in the trenches, you know, and I think part of it he was got, you know, when you get caught in the first round, part of it is getting caught cold. It happens. But the way that Bukoli walked through him, it kind, you know, I'm like Dad said, you know, oh man, that's just a product of what Top Rank put him in with. And people like, what do you mean? You know, he just got beat. I'm like, nah. If you go look at, and this has nothing to do with necessarily, like he's not no cherry pick. He's not no what's another word? Flash in the pan, I guess you could say, or a product. We gonna get to that bull. That everything I'm saying, we gonna get to that about another fighter later. But you gotta understand is that they put him in with guys to where he didn't have to do too much. It was a big showcase fight for him. It was just a big showcase fight, all of it. So let me get you to understand what I'm saying. And it's not a knock on him, and it's not even a knock on Top Rank. It's just not too much too soon, because it really isn't too much too soon. But they could have gave him something like Bukoli back when because how fast they moving around, they could have gave him a mimic of Bukoli, so later on when he fought Bukoli, he would have been alright. So y'all look at it like this, y'all. Like when you start off, the person who knows you best, for real, is your coach. He knows what type of heart you got. He knows if he got to tell you to stay out the gym. He knows how much you party after fights, if it's a disciplinary thing that could catch up to us later. He knows all of that. He knows if you a sucker for a rain. Like look at the Ray Leonard documentary. Well, it's a lot of documentaries. Let me back that up. Jesus Christ. The Sports Center one. Right, way back. It was a Sports Center one. It used to always be on ESPN Classic. And it was basically saying he was getting ready to fight Tommy Hearns, and they switched the interview cutscene over to not Kenny. It was Roger. Yeah, it was Roger. Mr. Roger. So Roger right there. And he says, I ain't think my brother could be no Tommy Hearns. 6'1", long reach, Ray a sucker for a right hand. I thought Tommy Hearns was gonna kill him. Straight like that. That's how real it is. Like you know what your guy like. It's bad days in the gym. You do have bad days in the gym. You can come off the biggest high and go in there and train and feel like the sorriest fighter ever. Like, man, am I really good as I think I am? Lord have mercy. Like, am I really cut out to make it to where I'm supposed to be projected to go? And he didn't at all, as he fought, like, your coach knows, and part of this is the problem because he kept switching coaches, but all of the coaches knew each other. Like they all worked with all them. But point blank, period, every trainer knows what your shortcomings can be. The way they were moving him up at Top Rank, he was straight. You knew like, oh, this kid gonna be nasty. Got the ministry, can move, whatever. And no, I don't think he's a blown up cruiserweight. Y'all said the same thing about Big Country. So now you're gonna say Big Baby should have got a power over cruise. He should be a cruiserweight. Man, that'll make him weaker if he fought at cruiserweight. That would make him a little bit weaker. He could probably do it, but it's gonna hurt him a little bit. He could probably with the right, with the this dude probably ain't made weight in years. Like so, I mean, but one loss got casuals and other people running off saying that, oh, after all of these guys, fought, oh, he's too small of a heavyweight, he shouldn't be there. All right, whatever, man. The boy got the skills. That part of that ain't gonna matter. You fight him and you fighting him, you're moving him, and you're making it obviously no, we're moving this kid up quick. But yeah, you didn't put him up in there with anyone who really moved a lot besides the last kid he fought who stayed away from him all night. And yet, a lot of the guys that he fought stayed in front of him. They did what he wanted them to do. And it's kind of like, for instance, I'll use myself as an example. I can come off the freaking street and let my father be there for me to, and I got to spar. Hey man, if y'all going to, hey man, don't wait on my son. Don't wait on him. Make him work. I mean, what you blowing on my spot for? Mind your business. Like, mind your damn business. But he'll say, man, don't wait on him because he gonna do tricks and milk the clock. Especially because he just coming back. He gonna do tricks. He gonna do certain things to make it, and he gonna frustrate you. I'm gonna do certain things, especially if I'm just coming back, and I don't want to, and I only want to pick it up at certain spots. Do certain things to where I could push myself but still keep it comfortable for me, and not put myself in too many uncomfortable positions where I gotta push my stamina too much and I can't pull it back. And that's fine. And when it's like, I'll make it work. Vanessa will tell me, man, don't leave, don't stay there, because he'll, And then remember Juice telling one dude, don't stare at him. He'll pick you apart. So you can't do that with certain guys. Because if you do that with certain guys, they'll sit there and everything is going their way. And Big Baby was like that. You had guys that was in front of him that they would plop their feet right there, and he'd be sitting there just like I forget the guy's name. That was the night when Big Baby wore the pink and black, and the guy was bald head, had the all black on with the Nikes, and he just did it. He just broke this kid down. Go back to the corner, and it's like, dude, why didn't this dude just move and walk? Try to at least walk Big Baby into some traps or something. And they sent him back out there to bang. Like they said, you need to win this round. And then Big Baby wound up putting him down. He couldn't get back up, man. Now, why does that all mean something? Because he did what he did in every other fight. Stay right there, try to rip, and see it, and try to break will when he could have really outboxed Bakoli, because Bakoli was moving just slow enough so he could outbox him, see pattern, make him look bad, then in spots rip the shots. Because by the time, as soon as he hit Bakoli with them first two body shots and Bakoli didn't even do this, you get taught, like, man, even though you do the work, don't take dumb body shots. Like, gonna be in a wheelchair when you're 50. Catch, or pull little stuff. Man, he was doing this, just walking through it. Big Baby touching it. He ripping these body shots. He walking smack through it, and I'm like, oh, what? Dude, he's not gonna wear down that easy. Just go ahead and just put the jab in this big boy face. Get him tired of chasing you, get him frustrated, and then start running him into some big stuff up top and below too. But right now, he ain't nothing gonna phase him right now. He look like a daggone Michael Myers horror movie right now. Just box him. It's unfortunately you gotta chop the loss up too. It happens. It just is what it is. It be like that. He has to come back. I would tell him come back in 6 months. Really, he always comes back around that time. But at the level he's at, but He can't be afraid to sit there and box. Just go back to just know you ain't gotta always sit there and brutalize guys. Cause some of these guys, never would dad say, what was he? What was he? 18-0 with 17 knockouts or 16 knockouts, but at one point he was 15-15 or 16-16, something like that. Because his last two fights were the ones that went. I think it was 16-16. Then the last two wins were the ones that went to, or something like that. Okay, never give a damn. Say I always go by the book of hard work, man, and the book of Hillcrest. Not everybody you hit gonna fall. It just don't work like that. It don't. Like I done heard so many stories from dad, some of the different people he grew up in the amateurs with. Like I forget the guy's name. I mentioned him in another episode with dad. Was like he was with Ollie Dunlap. Ollie don't tell that seal is right here. Don't blink. And dude was putting everybody to sleep. Then he fought one white boy, just would not go down. It just sometimes don't work that way. And then all of a sudden, now you forget what you were taught. Some of the other skills, you cannot do that. And no matter, because guess what? Ain't nobody gonna look at nobody but you. Nobody's gonna look at nobody with Big Baby. Guess what? We could say top rank, put him in with the wrong guys, all that stuff. But at the same time, whose fault is it at the end of the day? It's the fighter. It's like, oh man, you got all these skills, and you the most nimble heavyweight that can move most fluent one. Man, you was supposed to sit there, flurry this guy, make him look bad. Then, by eighth night, you start breaking him down. But only time will tell how much of a learning experience and not a detriment this loss was to him in due time. And I think he'll be okay. I think he still will be a champion. I mean, they got it. So they got the skids grease for him to be that. So we all just gonna see how it unfolds. But and he has to stay out of bullshit outside the ring. I hate to put it like that, but unnecessary dumb shit. But the stuff he be doing is like he watch too much Instagram and TikTok and reels, and he be feeling like, oh, all right, when it's my time, I'm gonna try that. And then, cause like you don't want to act a fool too much with this sport, cause this sport is a common sport. Yeah, and people like I'm not gonna say no fighters' names. And I don't care, but I'm just not that type of person. But it's fighters who people thought were angels. Just a night, oh God, he's such a great champion. And really, he was a dick. Like, his head was big as an asshole. When he got bigger, as he got bigger, he went pain in the ass. And then you see that night come, and you could see it coming a mile away, and they don't see it. And they wound up taking a massive, massive ass whooping. And that might have been his night for that karma ass. Well, who knows? You've seen it with the Camacho, you've seen it with, all through history, Adrian Broner, you've seen it with many, many, many fighters. So you never know. This is the wrong sport. Now you dancing, man. This is the wrong sport to treat people bad. It'll come back on you. It's gonna come back on you, so. But either way, people want to have an American heavyweight. I never in my life thought it was gonna be Big Baby Miller. I'm sorry, I didn't. I never did. I always thought it was gonna be Jared Anderson. I always did. But all the guys that impressed me, I thought it was gonna be it's gonna be Jared Anderson for real. But it's all in due time. It's still he's still very young. It's still a lot that he can get from this if he does it the right way. Cooper, everything else, he could come back and really, really shine and do something special coming off of this loss. He could gain more from it. Hey, what up, gang kid? Why is people trying to say Bud lost? Time out for everybody get in this chat and be like, oh, bro, he lost that fight. He lost that fight, bro. No, I don't think he lost it. I believe it was difficult, though. Oh, you know how people do. Oh, you got to basically play real life games on rookie to make this world that we live in shut the hell up, right? He goes from destroying Earl, and then he moves up another weight class, moves up another weight class. He's moving up to 10-ounce gloves, is the significance of him moving up a weight class. And yet now you have a nerve to say, because the fight was a little competitive, which is what he needed, oh, he lost. That's the problem with beating people bad. Because when that comes, all of a sudden now, you didn't do this. You ain't, you're not, and they say, oh, you're not ready for Canelo. Guess what? He almost the same size as Canelo. He's almost the same size as him. Like, literally, almost the same size as him. But they don't want to say, and then his arms are longer. He did well with taking the shots, but really the fight was really as difficult as it was. And shout out to Marjamel because the fight was that rough, it wasn't a brutal fight. It was tactically difficult. That was one of them fights where it's like, for example, Ray Leonard and Benitez, Hamed versus Kevin Kelly. You looking almost like at mirrors. Every move he makes every move you make, he makes the same move. Buddy McGirt and Pernell, different fighters where you get in there with a guy one night and y'all both are on a certain level of experience where every move he makes is difficult for you and every move you make is difficult for him. And the thing that was difficult for Bud was the foot movement. I believe personally from watching because this is the same guy come from the same schooling as Usyk and Loma and came up out of that same amateur tree, that amateur program. And a lot of those feints and everything, and if you see Bud countered mostly a lot. And then some of them at late in the fight, it turned into, all right, can't box no more. Now I gotta fight. I gotta strategically turn it into a street fight, which he did. You don't rip 3 and 4 uppercuts at once in one sequence and it ain't turned into a street fight. It just don't work like that. But he was throwing the shots and he had to push and use his experience and know that, all right, now I gotta dig. I gotta turn it into a street fight, which I don't think he's ready for, and push those championship rounds, which he hasn't been in as much as me, and take it from him. And that's what happens. He'll be better off for it because sometimes you just need to see where you at. He'll be better off for those fights with Mean Machine, for instance. Mean Machine was a much more brutal, along with tactically difficult fight. This one was tactically difficult, like mentally straining type of fights. Those are those type of fights where you make sure everything is clicking right and sharp, still sharp. Oh, okay, reactions there. Now that foot moving step. Nope, gotta cut that. Nope, pull glove. Nope. All right, that's the type of fights it was. I still would like to see him fight Canelo, see if he could dare to be great. I still would like to see that. Still would like to see that. I'm sorry. Nothing will take that excitement from me seeing it. Anybody who don't like it's a fool. Ain't much to really spend time on it, but because I don't want to get into, y'all know me, I don't want to get into too many particulars about can Bud beat Canelo, what would happen. Y'all see me touch on it twice. I don't like going over it multiple times because until I see a contract signed, what's the point of going over? Y'all heard I ain't talked about the Shakur Tank thing because it was the point. Until I knew for sure it was a contract done. When I heard that it was a good chance contract done, y'all heard me break down a little bit what it was. Like, he's tactically. Man, we go back to it. Yeah, that's a waste of time and energy that I personally do not have. So, we're moving on. Sips cinnamon applesauce. And moving on. Did y'all see Angelo Leo get his belt back, dog? I gotta touch on him because these next two talks after him, I gotta really go deep into. So I basically put like the real tough ones and like the long ones at the beginning. And the ones where I can really touch base and just keep moving in the middle. Angelo Leo, I know he probably sore as a mug in bed right now, but damn, it feels so good. because he got his belt back because he took a little bit of a licking against Scooter. He fought Scooter, and Scooter took a lot out of him. People, I think he got released from Heyman or something like that, like, or he left out Heyman. But basically, a lot of people wrote him off, and I didn't understand why. Like, why would you write him off and put him on the B side, and he was winning, still winning, and then you put him in there with this kid who was strong. So how big his legs were, like these are featherweights. His legs was huge. I was like, God Almighty. I had Leo winning. Dad didn't. Dad had it. I was winning. I personally had Leo winning, but I did feel that he had to stretch the scorecards out, stretch them out. You got to. But I didn't think he was gonna stretch them out. The other, I just like he was so people. It was crazy because he was right hand crazy the whole night because all through Angelo Leo's career, people were saying, "Oh, he's he's a hooker. All he does is throw a lot of hooks." He really been working on his right hand along with his mid range and everything. Like he really been doing his thing. And it's weird because I looked at the fight and it's kind of like I make you look at this for a long enough time, and now pow, and hit him with my money shot. Because when he hit him with that hook, it was over. I mean, as soon as he touched him with the hook, fight was over. I mean, he just like just hit the cam like God dog. I mean, when he hit the canvas, it was like, yo, he is out. And it was you be happy for a guy like that, man. Be happy because he's like, oh, he really deserved that. He really works for that. And then he was back home. It's a big deal. That was a big deal. Now he can go ahead and really get some more money. Now he never stopped making good money, but now he can really go back and make some good money because he got the belt now. And no matter what, he gonna bring it. So can't do nothing but be happy for him. Now, what the hell was that? Last night with Virgil Ortiz. Somebody in the chat help me. Oh, she helped me. What was that with Virgil? Did you see the Virgil Ortiz fight last night? Like that dude gave him some problems. Y'all, this is our legendary producer. Says Hillcrest legend, Rasheed Heyman, my surrogate uncle type of thing, And I swear on everything, man. I'm trying to chop the Virgil Ortiz fight up to he was in there with a guy who knew him. These guys trained side by side. So I don't know if you know the background on Rasheed. These two basically trained together for a long time, sparred together a lot of rounds, and then they wind up fighting each other. And he gave Virgil all he wanted. Basically, it looked like, oh, so this is what the sparring was like. That's when you watch the fight, that's you like, oh, this is pretty close to how the sparring was, back and forth. And people got Burchett winning. Like he beating Virgil. Did you see it? Or did you see any highlights of it? I'm waiting on my uncle to message me in the chat to see. Like, cause my producer always, so like when I do my shows, y'all, my producers look not too far. Like, just like anything with me, people, the people who look out to me ain't never too far. I'm always watching over me from the shadows, and he's similar. So, I personally can understand Burchett winning, but politics wise, I understand why he lost. I understand it's foul and messed up as it is. It's just victim of circumstance. Victim of circumstance, man. It just happens that way. Belichick wins. Guess what? What do you do with him? And this sounds so bad, man. I hate. Oh my god, This is so messed up, yo. Everything I'm saying is so messed up, bro. So messed up, bro. But if you give Barichette the decision, what do you do with them? What can you do with them? You stop the gravy train. With Virgil, you done put all of this into this kid.
Can you
You
hear me,
put,
Jr.?
yeah, I can hear you now. Did we hear anything from
Yeah,
the
yes.
guests?
Nothing came through from the guests. No, came.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. From earlier, they came in a little earlier on the broadcast before the show started. So
Man, did you see the highlights of the Virgil fight?
I haven't seen that one highlight today. I haven't really been
Oh
on
boy.
social media all day, and I missed the fights last night.
They sparred each other all the time. They grew up
Okay,
basically since they were pros. He helped Virgil in a lot of camps. They both helped
okay,
each other. And it looked like one of them sparring matches, like, okay, oh, this is one of how it probably wasn't sparring back and forth, whose day it is, whatever. But Baranchek pretty much beat Virgil and like I get it, but I gotta look at the politics of it. If you give it to Baranchek, what do you do with him?
right,
You mess the money up.
right.
The most you could do is go backstage after the fight's over, put your arm around and say, hey, you fought your butt off tonight. We got something for you. We want you to stay ready. We're gonna put you in another opportunity real soon. Cause you done put all this money into Virgil Ortiz. Let's really look at this, Uncle G. You done put all this money into Virgil Ortiz back when he was at one. Remember when he turned pro? He was like 140.
Yeah,
And then he couldn't make that weight. Moved up to 47. Couldn't make that weight. Kept getting sick making the weights. I mean, life-threatening sick making weight.
yeah,
And now he done moved up to 54. And it's like they done put hundreds of thousands of dollars into Virgil Ortiz.
money in them.
And two of the cars didn't even come, like 2 or 3 of the cars didn't fell through. That's a lot. And he was the main event. For I
Yeah,
think 2 of the cars, he was the main event. And in his hometown. So that's a lot of that ain't no mid-card guy. Like, oh yeah, we'll eat that because this gonna say what. No, he was the main event. And all that money goes out the window. So it's like, all right, we got him comfortable now. He had 154, and he's still having slight trouble with 154. I mean, it just makes no sense. But he's at 154. You basically got the train moving again. Everything looks good. And he's been knocking everybody out, getting rid of everybody in devastating fashion. So the biggest thing has been, oh, soon we'll put, maybe throw him in there with Canelo soon enough in the coming years. And we'll put him in there for a belt at 54, get him in there with Crawford and all that. You hear all these big names tied to Virgil Ortiz. And now he goes in there and it wasn't an off night because he looked good, in my opinion. He looked fine. He just was in there with somebody who knew him. And it was just a little bit of a long night. But now it's like, all right, dang. Ugh. It was one of them sweet pea moments, Uncle She. They take it too long with the cards. They take it too long with the cards.
I'm gonna
They
definitely
take it too long.
I'm gonna definitely check it out tonight, Jr. Because
Yeah.
I've been getting my phone being off the chain from after the decision was made though. As soon as the fight went off, my phone was just ringing and ringing.
Yeah, I know. I was like, man, I know she probably got to be watching this because something just don't seem right. Like I get people are upset. You're supposed to be upset. Don't get me wrong. I'm upset too. But at the same time, if you're looking at the politics of it, I always try to look at things from both sides. I understand. Why are you giving this man the decision? This ain't one of
Yeah.
them decisions where it's like, oh yeah, we could maybe make money off this if we give him the decision because we could
Right.
do a 2-3 fight thing. No, Barichek is not on that level to do that and make that money
Yeah.
back. This dude is from Ukraine. He ain't even got that much of a following. Everybody that like him is hardcore fans.
True statement.
So like, what's the point? You're gonna mess the money up if you let this go. It's like, okay, if I do this, I set Virgil back, and then people gonna really pounce on him. I'd rather them pounce on him on the internet while he still got an O in the L column than putting a one in that L column, and then people say he doesn't deserve this fight or whatever, whatever.
Mm.
People not putting that all the way together, man. You got to think, man. I done seen these promoters talk about, man, I haven't put this much to this kid, man. We just gotta make sure we get him to this point.
True statement. The money is a business. Boxing is a business.
Thank you.
Boxing is a business first and foremost.
I don't think they get that on Rashid.
Yeah.
And you more than just somebody who gave me a shot and a producer. You were one person who's helped teach me, a lot of stuff with the sport that I've observed. Sometimes you taught me stuff without even talking. But people, I'm trying to get to understand that as much as I've been an advocate for people who get robbed,
yeah,
I get it. Unfortunately, I get it. Hell, same thing with Bud. I felt Bud won, but even if you he won. He just had to dig deep. It was a tactically difficult fight. It wasn't even brutal. It was like his fight with Gamboa. With Gamboa was more brutal. His fight with Mean Machine was more brutal. This was more tactically because this kid come from the same schooling as Usyk and Long. Right. So the feet placement was bothering, but like, God, this dude feet getting on my nerves.
Yes. But it takes a special eye as a boxing fan. It takes a special eye to recognize that. Our sport is a very difficult sport. Our sport is a sport where if we know it, everybody else ain't gonna know it like we know it because it's some little small details that we will see that a lot of fans are not interested in seeing because they think it's boring. To us, we entertain, but to the average eye, they are already like, oh no, he's running, man. That fight that he just had to deal with. I think anyone at 154 would be a difficult. He's going to be a problem for anybody else at 154 if they fight him.
Yes, sir.
I think anybody else will have a problem with him more than Bud. And I don't think Laughing him will intentionally duck the fight with Israel. I think they'll intentionally duck him because his boxing IQ is immaculate. It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Bud show how phenomenal his boxing IQ was to somewhat neutralize it to win.
Yeah.
To pull it out. I already know how those Eastern European fighters are. They are very complex fighters. They take the amateur boxing game very seriously. They take it so serious to the point where they have 300 amateur fights, go pro with 10 fights and beat most people that have a whole boxing career.
Yeah.
So people say, "Oh, he's 9-0." No, he's 300
and 13. He 313.
Exactly.
Like, show.
Exactly.
Like, no, this dude gets like 320 something wins, 13 losses, plus 9. Like,
so that people say how I tell people how the importance of amateur boxing is for boxing. It is a need. It's a we can no longer young fighters out here 17-0 and run straight pro and think you're gonna beat some of these Eastern European fighters that come up the ranks 8-0 with 8 knockouts. You have problems with somebody that's also 8-0 with 300 fights behind them. The average fights now is no less than these young boys are not. I asked these guys, how many fights you got? Man, I got 70 fights. How long you been boxing? Since I was 9 years old. What? You got 70 fights and you've been boxing since you was 8 years old. I started boxing at 12. By the time I was 16, I had 100 amateur fights. So You wonder why these Eastern Europeans coming up beating the hell out of these Americans? They fighting everywhere. We gotta get back to it. We gotta get back to fighting. Gotta get back to make sure amateur boxing is funded. The foundation of amateur boxing must be improved. This the Olympics that just happened.
Yeah.
I don't like the way they structured it. I don't like the way they did it. Back in the days, you had to fight the trials, you had to fight the box off, then you had to fight you had to win some of the Golden Gloves. That was a route. The
Pan Am
Games. They got to bring that back, and they have to restructure the qualification. Increase the qualification. The team was smaller. It's a lot that has to be done. They talking about getting rid of it, but amateur boxing is if they get rid of the Olympics, you can say goodbye to professional boxing.
Sure, I'll give you a good example, Uncle She. I'll give you two good ones actually. I remember when Zaire Rahim, who was kind of, I want to say, he was undefeated, but he wasn't as heralded as I feel he should have been when he turned pro.
Right.
And he fought Rocky Juarez. He got robbed, in my opinion.
I agree.
Then, and he fought that fight with like real bad cramps in his legs. His legs gave way by the 6th round. I don't care what nobody said. His legs was gone. If you listen to the tape, he sits on the stool and he tells us, he said, my legs is killing me for some reason with that. And he had to wind up fighting more on the inside than he wanted to and still beat Rocky Juarez. But
I agree.
time went on and he winds up getting a shot, a throwaway shot, like basically one of them stay ready shots. And he fights who, ladies and gentlemen? El Terrible from Tijuana. Eric Morales. Eric Morales' record probably at that time was 40, 50 something wins and 2 losses.
Yeah.
3 losses or like 2 losses and a draw, something like that. Go to BoxRec and look. And I want to say Zaire Rahim probably had 20. I think he was probably 20 in his late 20 fights.
Yeah.
And he outboxed the mess out of Eric Morales. He beat Eric Morales basically off the amateurs. He killed him with his feet. He basically beat Eric Morales with his feet. He really beat Eric. He didn't beat Eric Morales up here. He beat Eric Morales by putting him out of position down here. And then, all right, that's open. Boom, boom, boom. That's open. Boom, boom. All right, cool. And he didn't even believe he was going to win. If you watch when he's walking around the ring at the end of the fight, y'all, and right when they about to announce the winner, he had it like they about to rob the bleep out of me.
Yeah.
He was prepared. That's wyou see him go, oh, when he goes like he was so ecstatic, like, oh, they didn't rob me. It was like, oh, I won. It was, oh, they didn't rob me. So, and that all came from all of that amateur experience that he had. And then to add another example, which goes even way deeper than that, there was a guy that I don't hear a lot of young fighters talk about enough anymore that I feel should talk about more often. There was a guy when I was a kid coming up who was vicious. He looked like an old man, but he was in his early 20s. His name was Yuri Boy Campos.
Okay.
Yuri Boy Campos was vicious. I mean, I thought he was an old man. Turns out he was 21, 22 with that thick mustache.
Yeah. And
he was 21, 22, and he had 60-something fights, 70-something pro fights, like the undefeated pro fights. It was like, oh, is he gonna break Chavez's record? Is he gonna pass Roberto Duran in wins?
Yeah.
This is who we're talking about. A few years prior, he's champ, but he's not at 70 fights. He's at just a measly 40-something, 50-something, and which ain't a lot in Mexico. And in Mexico, it's a they don't care too. They care. Every country cares, but it's more known to have 11 or 16 or 20 amateur fights and then go pro at 15 years old and fight 50, 60, 70, 80 fights.
That's what they do. Yeah.
as a professional, because the way they look at it down there is we're already a poor country. 6 families
Yeah.
own Mexico. If you're not one of the six, I never forget one of my Latino friends was like, if you're not one of the 6 countries that own part of Mexico, you're pretty much screwed.
Facts.
And rarely ever with their Olympic team do you see like somebody homegrown from Mexico. A lot of times the people that are on their Olympic teams are from here, lose the trials here, then
And
go to
go there.
Mexico and jump on their team.
They used to do that. Yep. Yeah, it was a big deal. Yeah.
Like the Molina family. If
Yeah.
you guys remember Javier Molina, Oscar Molina, and they also have another brother as well. The Molina brothers are real good fighters, solid Mexican, typical Mexican fighter, but they double up, they hook in the middle and at the end of every combination. One of them wound up fighting Jared.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I was moving around the ring with him, and he was like, yeah, it's going to be a guy named Oscar Molina. I'm like, why does that name sound familiar? I'm just moving around the ring with him. We shadow box. I'm like, why does that name sound familiar? I go around the ring, and I see the post. I'm like, oh, I know who you fighting. You fighting his brother. It was Javier Molina right beside my guy, Gary Russell Jr. on the Olympic poster.
Right.
And guess what? All the Molina brothers were shoe-in
Yeah.
for that Olympic, the USA team. Only one made it, and that was Javier. The other 2 lost and went to Mexico, made that, and he kept moving. Now, with your boy Campus, because down there in Mexico, they feel as though that I'd rather learn on the job. Perfect example of that, look at Antonio Margarito. Margarito was his first 11 fights, his record was 8-3. His first 11 fights, his record was 8-3. And it's like, oh, and he was 15 years old, and they were grown men, but he didn't have the skills to even out him not having the man strength. Because sometimes you can sit there like, okay, I ain't got the man strength, but I can even this out with my skill set.
Yeah.
He didn't have that. So down there, they kind of look at it as, if I'm going to do this, I can learn on the job and at least get, 4,000 pesos. So basically, your boy Campus was like 48-0, something like that, already pro. He goes and he had some kids from Oxnard coming down to spar him. Top amateurs. One was pro though. Hey, Uncle Lou. And guess who it was? 2 kids. One of them, their dad name was Big G, but one of the kids wasn't his kid, but he always called him his dad. One of them was a guy named, we later come to find out, name is Robert Garcia. The other kid, name was later to be known as El Fedos, Fernando Vargas. Fernando Vargas was beating everybody in amateurs. He was number 1. Wasn't he, Uncle Sheep? Number 1 coming up?
He was in the JOs with us, right?
Yes, sir.
And
story time with Uncle Sheep. Yes. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Now, I'm just telling you.
No, don't back up. Don't back it up. Don't you let off the gas. Come on with it.
Yeah, he was in the amateurs with us in the JOs, right? The year of 93. And he fought Gary Jones.
He fought Fast Hands?
Yes. He
mentioned Fast Hands in the interview.
Yeah, he fought Gary Jones. They used to battle, man. I'm talking about chess match. Literally battle. They was in Gulfport, Mississippi in 1993. Fernando ended up fighting him again in 96 in the trials. Yeah, in the trials. No, I'm sorry. Fernando fought DeMarcus Chop Corley in the trials.
Yeah, that fight's on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, that's on 96. That was 96 in the trials in California. But Gary and him, chess match. Fernando was a phenomenal fighter, and he also was one of those guys that didn't when he came in the room, you knew he was there. In LA, California was a different beast, man. That if you listen to Anthony Peterson always talks about California. He's not lying. He's literally they on a different complain when it comes to boxing, technology wise, as well as eating diet. The diet program is different over there. So when we was seeing them guys, it would be 10 California. I'm just using an example. I'm giving you a number. 10 California, 7 of them coming back with the national.
Mm.
You hear what I'm saying? And they would tell us LA or California's regional state was harder than the national. Fernando Vargas was a beast in the amateurs, especially in the JOs. When he got open, see, back then when they turned open, them guys that was winning the nationals, they would immediately go open and win the nationals open. So they'll carry on this, and they'll beat the guys that was already national champions. That was open. They'll just come in and just take they slack. That 96 crew was 2-year, 3-year JOs, man. 2-year JO fighters. So I hear people always say something about, well, you was a J. Let me tell you something. All my JO champions ain't never have a problem in the opens. So all that, you know what I'm saying? They never, none of them dudes I came with, never had any issues in the opens. So, you know, Fernando Vargas was the truth, man. And I already knew they was predicting him to be the next Oscar.
Yeah.
They was predicting him to be the next Oscar, but Oscar had something different than Fernando had.
Fernando was in my opinion, Fernando was the Allen Iverson of turning pro.
Yes, he was. He was a real deal. One of them. If you ever watch any Mexican movies, the old Mexican.
Yeah.
He was that, the one with the button-up shirts, tall way tucked up. He
was real true to the zoot suit and the cholo.
He was one of them ones. He always say vatos. He still say that.
Yeah, vato. Yeah,
he still say that shit still to the day. But he was one of them khaki pants type man Mexicans. I'm talking about real deal gangster type talking. You know, you tell he was from the street. He was he was real deal street type. And you knew the difference. And I knew the difference. I was like, damn, you know, the Mexicans from the East Coast and the West Coast is different. Them dudes thorough, man. They was thorough, man. Thorough dudes, man. They wasn't scared of us either. They was thorough.
Man, and this same kid who wasn't scared of nothing is going to go spar the new champ, brand new champ, your boy Campus. And he gets in there with your boy Campus. Couldn't touch your boy Campus. Couldn't touch him. Your boy Campus was making him and Robert look bad. Making him look bad. I had multiple people tell me this story, but then it was confirmed if you go to YouTube and look at both of them tell the story. Because Robert tells the story, and then there's 2 interviews where Fernando tells the story in 2 separate settings. And couldn't touch him. You know, it was just typical. Fans, I always like to go back to me as an example so people know I'm not too big. I remember when I was doing fine and I'm sparring a lot of guys who, you know, I sparred a kid who just won silvers and did good and all this stuff. And then Alan Russell come in the gym, he go, hey, I might be fighting. I never get you say you was about to go. And I think he probably needed me because he was fighting Joey Ligula. But I forget who, but somebody was tall, and he said, "Yo, can I use I just want to do defense. I'm not going to, you know, I know I'm walking around big, so I'm not going to, you know, put a lot of power on it with him." So I went there with him. That let me know that it was a different type of speed. Like, as fast as I was, and I'm giving people hell. I never forget this, Uncle Sheep. Allen had a tendency, right, to do this. He'll do this, like that was like his time. He'll walk off, lift his hand a little bit, get a little.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know it's coming, so I want to feint him and see if I could get him to make the move and then drop the right hand as soon as he moves his head here. Man, this dude did this. And when he did it, I fainted. I mean, everything came off perfect. Faint, spit. By the time I even got my hand here, he was already right here in my face.
Yeah.
And he said, you know how they thought it looked like this and ended like that? You know, I was like, oh my, it was, I mean, literally, that made me step my game up. I was like, oh, shucks.
Yeah. That's another
It was
level.
literally like a horror movie. It was like that. Like, oh, shucks, he in my face. Like, literally, look. Oh, like everything was like, oh my God. That let me know this is what international fighters like.
Yep.
Right there. Okay. And you know what this man had the nerve to say after 6 rounds? Goes over to my dad. He ready. He ready. He ready. Yeah, I had to think for him. He gonna be all right. He gonna be all right. I'm like,
yeah.
Excuse the hell out of me. Thank you for the compliment, but what part of that made you think I'm ready?
Fighters know though. Fighters know when another fighter's ready though. You know that. It's like he made him think. You forced him to think. So you know, even though you think we getting punished in the sparring session or stuff. But the whole time he like, hold on, man. I had to go dig deep and think on certain things. So, you know how sparring is, man. So,
So Fernando and Robert went in first, I think. Fernando went in second, couldn't touch him. He's literally talking junk to Fernando in Spanish, saying, oh, come on, little Olympian. You're supposed to be the future Olympian right now. I'm number one. No, come on. Oh, go this way. No, this way. Spinning them, turning them, pulling this way. Doing all type of junk to Fernando. Fernando getting, you know how Fernando, when he get mad, and he wanted, for people who don't know, the stories I heard about Fernando Vargas is he was one of the ones who would get mad. And the last thing you want is for him to get mad to where he starts crying, because then he want to kill you.
Oh yeah.
Then he wants to kill you.
He cried. He used to cry. Forgot about that too.
Like if he start crying, he want to kill you. You made him that mad to where he want to kill you now. So he's literally telling, come on, little future Olympian. You supposed to be the number one, man. You look kid, you know. So they leave. He in the back of Big G van, crying, and Robert like got his head down. Big G like, man, relax, mijo. You know, tell him to relax. And he goes, you just fought a world champ. Relax. And he said, no, F that. I'm going to get that MFer, man. I'm going to get him. Fast forward. People forget Fernando Vargas was on a fast track similar to Big Baby Anderson. Jared Anderson. Very similar. Very similar to the Keyshawn Davises. Very similar to... He literally fought for a world title. I want to say Fernando was either 15-0 or 17-0. Something like that. Either 15 or 16-0. Something in between. Because I think he won the USBA at 14-0, I think. Because he fought Big Boss.
It was definitely not that many fights because... Between him and David Reed, they both had to fight. They tried to they put them on the fast track.
Yeah.
They were fighting some tough guys. Like, man, I felt bad for David Reed because David Reed was fighting
killers,
world champions, killers. I know he won the gold medal and all, but his career was like they were speed tracking him, man. They were speed tracking him. I don't think they. Only person I'd say who's able to do it very well. I mean, I'm not the only, but the person that did it very well was Oscar De La Hoya. He accomplished the task that was in front of him. But David Reed, I used to feel bad for him. He had a bad eye. He had to get eye surgery.
Yeah.
So
no, remember the lie? They said, oh, he had a lazy eye. Nah, man, that was a
Nah,
detached retina.
that was not detached retina. They was trying to keep, they was trying to cover it up, and that's what
Yeah.
that ruined David. That ruined his
Yeah.
career. That ruined him.
Yes.
That ruined him forever. That
Because
ruined him.
for casuals who watch, shout out to 10K Trader, new ABO. Man, super bantamweight champ, man. Shout out to you, man. He just said he watching.
Yeah, man, gotta say what's up, man. Shout out, man. I wasn't able to make the fights this week, the last weekend. I was on family vacation, so. But man, I got to see it from social media, man. Shout out to the whole squad, Hillcrest mob went
yeah,
through,
man.
represented us, our bloodline, man. Our
man.
bloodline.
That boy fought. Both of them fought like they had a lot of stuff pent up, like a lot of underdog stuff pent up in there. I could tell. I've been around my baby cousin long enough. I saw how he fought, and I could see his emotion as the fight was going on. I was like, oh yeah, he trying to leave, no doubt. He's leaving, and he sure did, man. So I tip my hat. To you, Trey. Well done.
Shout out to the whole team, man. Cause
man.
What's his record now? What he about 9-0?
8-0. 8-0, 4 knockouts. Man, what? Him and Frankie, man, they putting mugs on notice. Him and Frankie putting mugs on notice.
Yeah, man. I wasn't able to make it. I'll be at the next one. I really don't be going out to the fights like I used to. But I'm gonna definitely show up to their next fight for sure. But I had to go on vacation, man, last week, so I wasn't able to make that one.
Yeah. So people gotta understand that David Reed beat so many guys with a detached retina, but at the time it wasn't no social media. It wasn't as out there as it probably would have got out today. But he had that detached retina coming up late in the amateurs.
I remember.
And you finally got somebody who was there telling you, confirming this for y'all.
I was good. I remember Dave Reed had fought my guy Carlos Diaz, Hillcrest alumni as well, in the Eastern Trials. I was supposed to go to those Eastern Trials. I would have qualified for it. I end up letting Ray Massey go. We end up. I won the Golden Gloves. We was in the same weight class, and he was also 119, and he went for me at the Eastern Trials. I didn't want to fight that one. I was like, I already qualified for the Golden Gloves. I'm gonna go that route. I'm gonna give my teammate a shot to go another route. Carlos Diaz, who also was Hillcrest, he fought David Reed. He gave David Reed a pretty good fight too. And his eye was, you could see that as he got out the ring. I already saw it. I'm like, damn, he got a little droopy looking eye. You know what I'm saying? Look droopy. But he always had that issue. That issue been going on in for a while before the Olympics.
And then, for people who don't understand, he was a shoe-in. Like, people really had like money on him making it, and he made the Olympics. And by the luck of the draw, God, he wound up getting a Cuban. So for people who are casuals who are watching this,
oh man,
he got a Cuban back when the Cubans were the Cubans.
Cubans were the Cubans. You said it.
Let me help y'all understand. I'm gonna say the 70s going into maybe 2008.
2000, yep, about 2008. The Cubans.
When you got a Cuban in the draw, you like, I'll never forget. I'm not gonna say the fighter's name. I'm around another fighter who still had ties to the national team and the Olympic team, whatever. He get a car. I'm with him in his car. And he, yo, what the fuck? And he said, what's wrong? Man, the first fight of the tournament, I get a Cuban? Man, this is some bull. He was mad as hell. He was like, man, I get a Cuban. This one bull. Man, he was mad. He was mad. Then
Yeah.
he said, hold up. Let me go back and look at this, John. I'm in the car. I'm listening to the conversation. He's at home. You can hear him walking back up to like I guess the bracket. He looking, he go, Slim, 2 slots above. And such don't beat such and such. Then if I win, I'm fighting a Russian. Man, get
Oh
the
yeah, that's just as bad. That's just as bad, man. That's just as bad.
I'm like, yo, these dudes really going through it. Like, he really going through. Like, man, I did all this work to get. I never forget when Nuke went to the Olympics, and the first fight field was a Cuban. I'm like, you do all that work to get to the Olympics, and your first fight is a Cuban. What the heck? Who set this up? So David Reed, y'all, literally gets a Cuban. And it's close. It's tight. It's to the point where he sits on the stool and it's goes like, go back to the basics. I need you to stay relaxed. Stick on the basics. Do this, that, and the third. And the shot to be there.
Al Mitchell. Shout out to Al Mitchell.
Al Mitchell. He said the shot to be there. And he hit that. You could tell the Cuban did not expect that shot because he was having his way up just about like David's there. He's there with him. But it's like, I'm 2-3 moves ahead. I'm good. Yeah. Man, that man was stiff, and he tried his damnness to get it together, and he could not get it together. And you just knew this is still around the time for people who don't understand, where if you won the gold medal, you won a silver medal in boxing, your life changed immediately.
Forever after that. Yeah.
Forever.
Facts.
So he basically, everything was set up for him. Any sponsorships he wanted, he didn't have to want sponsorships or certain, things on his trunks. He was getting it offered to him. All right, you're gonna have Rockaway on your trunks this fight. This is when Jay-Z and Rockaway was like the big thing. You had that RW on your trunks. You're like, big. It was a big deal. And you could see, like, that don't look like a lazy eye. Like that, and I never forget my mother was what she said. That don't look like no lazy eye. And you got to understand, y'all. These fights are happening for him. These sparring sessions are happening for him. These pro fights, smaller gloves now, no headgear now. All the risk is higher now. And ain't no telling what pain he's feeling from this eye when he gets home.
It looked painful. It looked painful.
Yes. And it's one of those things where it's like, I can't pass up this opportunity. I got this money here. I could push a little longer. And instead of getting it done, because these days, remember, Gabe Rosado had a detached retina. I think he had 2 detached retinas. He still kept fighting all the way up, no problem. Still made big money. Yeah. There still was a stigma where if you had a torn iris in boxing, you had a detached, your career over. Your career is over.
Back then it could have been, for sure.
And this is just 20 years ago. For people who don't understand, this is just 20 years ago. Your career is over, done. So it's like, shoot. So they moved them up fast, but you got to also look at it as, dang, David probably thought, I got to get this money now because when I do get tired of it and I say, I need to get this eye done, they might say I'm done. They might not give me the Ray Leonard route. Ray Leonard had the best of the best in the 80s. And they was like, and part of me, he said that his eye never went back to normal. Ray Leonard always said it was still kind of blurry in that eye.
Yeah.
But I honestly believe in my heart of hearts, I would love to ask Ray Leonard this question, like, how in the world in the 80s did you still get a chance to fight and make all this money? And David Reed probably didn't even have a shot to. I would love to know how the heck, what medicine did they give you? But, you then got to get in there with a killer. So, like, for people who don't know, and now I'm going to put my medical hat on, my school hat on, where imagine astigmatism 10 times worse when you're dealing with a detached retina. And that's being nice about it. Where now you're basically, it's almost like drunk eyes almost, because this side is like this side is fine, but because I believe it was this eye is fine, but then you're looking out of this side and it keeps doing its own thing because it's like a short circuit almost. That's very difficult. I don't blame him for making the money that he made. We haven't heard nothing about David Reed needing money or nothing. You've heard that he's been very comfortable. And I don't blame him for being fine, taking care of that, and being just calling it a day. But that's how certain things happen. Bills got to get paid, and I'm supposed to be the curse breaker. That's just how it be.
Right.
You know, and Fernando Vargas was very similar. Fernando Vargas was, when he fought your boy Campos.
I feel bad for both of them, man.
Yeah, because I'll never forget you said that he was a few episodes back. You said, man, I used to feel so bad for Fernando and David, because man, they used to put them in there, and I felt like that. Because remember, Fernando retired at 27 years old.
Yeah, they had some wars, man. He had some wars.
27 years old. He said he was done.
Yep.
Yeah, he had two $20 million fights, you know, pay-per-views. But at the same time, you're like, dang, not 32.
Yeah.
Not even 30.
I mean, they was fighting guys like Trinidad and
yes.
Fernando. Whenever I was like, I mean, they was like Trinidad. They would be fighting like
your boy Campos and
Oscar De La Hoya and who else? I used to be like, damn, why they got him in there with?
Where is the tune-up?
Some wars, I say. But they came up in that era where, at that time, all the great, especially at 54, they was at 54 and 47, and at 54, 47 in the middleweight, that was a in the 90s. Ooh, man, a bunch of. You talking about killers? Now, I ain't talking about just killers, meaning like guys like you got to remember, even if you got the draw, the luck of the card, you still had to deal with slick fighters like Pernell Whitaker and guys like that back then too. They didn't do Floyd career like they did Fernando and
David and
They didn't do the same way. They didn't do Floyd like they did.
I don't
know why they put them dudes through the hellfire like that, man. I'm still trying to figure it out, brother.
Matter of fact, I got a story with Fernando after I finished the Campus one. He was crying in the base. I'm gonna get that guy one day, and he was so nervous. Fernando said he was nervous during like the build up of the press conference because he thought Campus was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, okay.
And he never brought it up. And then when the fight started, we all know he broke Campos down. Campos was, I want to say 78-0 going into the fight, and Fernando was 16-17-0.
Right. Yeah.
So he beats him, and you gotta remember, folks, some of it, you know, you could look at Fernando and look at it as it's a catch-22 type of thing. You know, it was they were looking at it the Azuma Nelson effect. Zuma Nelson fights the great Salvador Sanchez and then went to hell and back. Salvador Sanchez really just had a little bit too much experience for him. He still went on to be Azuma Nelson.
That's right.
And it's like, oh, you know, this is the same thing. You fight the champ, you lose, you're going to be great type of thing. Yeah. And I never forget when his first big fight, he fights Trinidad. And people always say, I saw an interview with Robert Garcia where he said people was all mad at us that we threw him in there with Trinidad. No, we knew he could beat Trinidad, and we knew, like, if you go look back at some of Fernando's tapes, he really could box.
Yes,
and in like, for instance, for people who want to be on Lomachenko's jock or whatever, it's the reason why I always say boxing is the same old chicken, different seasoning. If you go
Right.
to somebody else's house, you might get the same. You might eat chicken at their house just like you eat it at your house. But guess what? They may have different fixings on theirs than you put on yours. That's no different with boxing. A pivot is a pivot, but certain guys might have a certain pivot a certain way, a certain style a certain way. Now, where does this fit in with Loma and Fernando? Cool. I put a post up 2 days ago. There was an old champion named Orlando Canizales who used to form world champ up in the early 90s. I'm going to send you the clip. I remember watching him when I was a kid, but I could not remember his name because I was a little boy. I could not remember his name on the sheet. I'm going to send you the clip. This man was turning, slide, blah, blah, blah. And our people was like, yo. And shout out to Zaki Scott, man. Zaki was like, oh my God. He's being like, oh my goodness, the movement. And I'm like, man, even when Ray Leonard fought, he fought in Syracuse. He wore orange trunks for Syracuse. He fought at the Syracuse campus. And the fight, who did he fight? Oh my God, what that dude name? I'm so mad. Oh, Reggie, I think his name was Reggie Bonds, like Bonds or something like that. And real good fighter. And the same move that you see Loma do, Ray Leonard did. But here's the thing. I never forget my dad said that's when he was still here at home. He was like, he got that move from your Uncle Marshall, because we were all training together. And your Uncle Marshall did it one day and he was like, yo, show me that. And he wound up using it a lot early in his career. And so it's always thing. Now let's go to Fernando. Go back and watch when Fernando Vargas fought the Boss. The Boss. Who's the Boss? The Boss is another fighter signed by Don King. And guess who he had to beat to get the fight with Fernando? A guy, a DC legend, Star Child.
Yeah.
He had to beat Star because Star Child was signed too. And he had to fight Star Child, beat Star Child to get the fight with Fernando. So if Star Child would have won, he would have fought Fernando as well. I believe he would have. I believe he would have pissed Fernando off. I really believe that Star Child would have pissed him off. I really do. So, basically, if you watch the tape, because Fernando really wanted to beat on him. His name is the Boss Ross. His last name is Ross. He winds up calling Fernando Fat Boy or something like that in the build up.
Ross Thompson?
Yes, Ross Thompson. Yes, I couldn't.
That's my man. I know Ross. Ross was a bad.
Evil and very mean.
He's from Buffalo, New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that dude could fight, man.
Yeah.
He could fight.
And he had to get the gab to sell tickets.
Yeah,
because he helped piss a lot of people off and a lot of Latino people off to come sell those last tickets for that Fernando fight.
Yeah. Ross, what's my man?
Yeah. And I know you over there like, damn, nephew, how the hell you was little? Why the hell you know this? Like,
your stuff, man. Hey, listen, man. That's why, man, I'm gonna give you your flowers right now, man. While we
yes,
here,
sir.
Man. That's why, man. I say, listen, man. The Second Wind Sports Media is a educational platform. Now we entertain, but we educators over here, right? So
yes, sir.
To bring you on is like bringing on a goddamn W.E.B. Du Bois of boxing. The young Prodigy Woodson of boxing right now, man. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You're more than just a boxing host. You are a boxing scholar. A young boxing scholar. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
The stuff that we talking, You have to really know boxing to know these people, these names you bring up. You know boxing. So I had to give that to you, man. Young boxing started the W.E.B. Du Bois of boxing.
But
JR.
you know, of course, I was a little boy, but the thing that really helped, the reason why I remember a lot of this stuff, it didn't just come from, oh, I'm sitting in front of the TV with dad. It came from shutting the hell up
Right,
and just listening.
right.
Just listen to the conversations. I never met Ross Thompson.
Right. But you
I
knew
never
him,
met
man.
him.
You knew
But I
him.
knew who this fighter was. I watched him come up. I remember Tuesday night fights where Fernando fought on Tuesday night fights.
Yep.
I remember all that. And in this fight game, is even back then. I try to explain to I know I'm still a young fighter, but I'm now at that age where I'm like a young veteran and I could give
Right.
Trey and Frankie pointers and stuff like that, and they look and take heed to it, that, which is a big deal for me. It means so much to me that they look at me as somebody they could take advice from.
Yes,
And everybody knows somebody in this sport. If you're I always tell you, boxing like a college campus. When you go to a college campus, you're like, how in the hell am I gonna find my way around here?
Facts.
After the second week, you like, the shortcuts to get to your class when you late, to get you extra 30 minutes of sleep. You know how to get to that. Oh, so that's the better way I can go to get to the concession, so I can sit there and buy some clothes, some university hoodies and all that. So, oh, okay, cool. Oh, so I ain't gotta cut through that. I can go through that stairwell right there and get to the lab. Oh, like, it's no different with boxing. If you're in boxing long enough, everybody know everybody. Like, for instance, I didn't get the chance to fight as much as I want to, but I had guys like Saddam Ali. Never forget, even before Saddam Ali, I remember I came in the gym, and this is after I had a real bad sickle cell episode. And I got street clothes on. We go in the old school, and at the time, Dusty's girlfriend goes, "Who's that?" And he said, "Oh, does he fight? Is he?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's Junior. Yeah, he can fight." He said, "Yeah, he can fight. He's one of those flashy guys. He's one of the guys that wears tassels on his shoes. He's one of them. He's talking junk." And then Saddam, I'm like, that's my stuff. He just sat there, he just knew. He said, "Yeah, this Junior. Yeah, he can fight. He's one of the flashy ones. He's one of those guys that wear tassels on his shoes. So, forget you, Dusty. Because Dusty always had a one-liner for me. So Saddam Ali, one time, somebody said something, and he said, and you gotta think, this is Saddam Ali, Olympian,
right,
world champion, in New York, Shemuel Pygon in New York. These guys are decorated, right? And then somebody asked, who was I? We all just chit-chatting and talking. And he said, "Oh, yeah, that's Junior. Oh, yeah, he's a bad little motherfucker. He's bad. Like, yeah, he can fight." Right. And he said he didn't want to tell my business. So he said, "Yeah, he can fight, but he just got an injury. He got an injury. So he wasn't able to fight as much as he wanted to. But now he could go. He's really good. He's really technical. Like, really technical. And and got a good mean shit. Like, he's really breaking it. If you're around this sport long enough, somebody, if they know you, they know you.
They know you.
They know, like, oh yeah, that dude can fight. Oh man, that dude a waste of time, man. He could fight, but he wasn't staying in the gym long enough. Like, somebody knows something.
They know something on you.
Yes, they know something on you. And then you can hear it when people talk. If they only can bring up Golden Gloves, they don't know shit about boxing. Because they know.
Yes.
You gotta hear, listen to people talk. Do they say, "Yeah, I remember when we went out of town, we was Region 3. Oh, yeah, okay,
you know shit about boxing.
Yeah, yeah, man, I fought up at the PAL, the PAL. Stuff that'll make you go, oh yeah, you boxed. Yeah, you boxed. Hey, oh, you made the PALs, you boxed for a minute. Like, so it's a certain way. Like, no, I never get what Dad said. He said, man, even back then, if you wanted to know something about a fighter, People, you can find out that dude getting in the house at night if he really taking the fight serious.
That's real shit. Yes.
Man, I never get that. Broke that junk down to me. He was like, man, people, man, what, man? If you would, people, you sit there, man. Oh yeah, he taking the fight serious. That Bama getting in the house early. He doing this right. He doing that right. He took his wife on a date the other day, and he still got in the house before 9.
Yeah, yep, they know everything. They fighters
Yeah.
know everything.
Yeah.
Gyms talk. You think the hair salons is bad? Go to a
Yep. Man, I tell people, what did I say the other time that made you bust out laughing? I said, one thing I learned, boxing is not a barbershop. It is a hair salon.
Hair salon. You never lied, man. You never lied. That's fact.
Trying to get y'all like really understand. I never met Fernando Vargas.
Right.
I didn't get the chance to. I didn't get the chance to meet Ross Thompson. Right. I watched these guys. I watched take one of these guys. But the biggest thing is I was going in the gym with my dad, and I was the only kid allowed in the gym.
Yeah.
All these guys had kids. I was the only child allowed in that gym. Yeah. I'm around. Looking back on it, I was spoiled. I mean, me and Dusty talked about it. I said, man, we was spoiled rotten.
What year you
89.
89, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I was spoiled rotten. Yeah. I'm in the gym. These dudes are stopping their workout to show me something. Yeah. They would sit there and watch it. I'm thinking I'm doing something bad. And they watch me like, because Uncle Sheen, Uncle Nesto, Tony Thompson, Ty Barnett, Daryl Coley, James Baker, all these guys looking like, Don, you gonna let him fight? You gonna let him fight? Yeah, because at the time, you remember my dad, he was like, nah, he ain't fight. He got a brain. He ain't boxing, man. He ain't want to box. He gonna learn. He can defend it. He can come in. No. Man, my father wasn't having it at first. Remember Tom Brown was like, I'll give you a cookie if you fight for me. You want to spar real quick? And it was because I was advanced for my age. I wasn't, I could throw my punches with no problem. They had to start teaching me the advanced stuff because I already knew the fundamental stuff, like with ease. So I was the only kid allowed in it. So when you're in there, you hear these stories. You hear, man, such and such and such bull jobbing, man. That fool came into camp 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a little kid. I'm hitting the speed back and I can hear them in that other room. I'm like, that's bad.
You know what it is? Boxing is about having an advantage. So the more information you got on your opponent or whoever, even if they ain't even your opponent, it might be a future opponent. So fighters always looking for that extra edge, whether it's good or bad. And sometimes they might be like, yeah, man, I saw him yesterday, man. That man ran all the way to Arlington, Virginia and back, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always the bad stories, it's sometimes the good stories too. So
but
at the same time, though, like you said, JR, it's like it's worse than it's like a hair salon. It's once man, I don't care if you man, they stories about me back in the days I would hear would be false, but I'm like, hold on, man, I go to work every day, man. I ain't in no streets. People we was in the streets, so but I was not in the streets, so that's what they was assuming.
Man, Uncle G, I remember it's a barbershop around the corner from my house, Will Y'all Barbershop. They got my gloves in there. When I got some more gloves, I signed off. They got them hanging in there. They showed me a lot of love. And some kid came in there running his mouth. And I was still active at the time. He was like, yeah, I would be the champ of y'all barbershop. And he was like, nah, we already got one. They said, what's his name? He said, Champ. They wouldn't say my name. He said, yeah, he been coming here since he moved into the neighborhood. He been coming to this barber shop. And he's like, oh, such and such and such. So I wound up coming in the barber shop later on. They say, who is he? Turns out Hassan had my stuff pulled up on his computer. And he said, right here. He said, oh, Lil Junior, I can get his on and Hillcrest. Yeah, the one who be like, he dressed such as they got the always wear like the tassels or whatever. And he was like, yeah. He said, yeah, I might have to fight him up at JC's. Yeah, he got a lot of tricks with him. Him and his father got a lot of tricks. So I gotta be ready for him. Now he had a lot of respect for me, and I'm like, okay, I told him now I want to meet the kid, and I was like, oh yeah, man, real kid can fight. I just had a little bit more. I wanted to spar him. I just had more experience in him, and I was like, and I liked him. He was a cool dude, you know. So I remember telling people that sometimes I done seen people get news and they scared the mess off the other fight. They'd be like, hey man, that dude running twice a day. Yeah. So what they do is they flip it. Oh, so he is taking the fight serious. Oh, all right. Yeah. So that means that he might be overtraining. So we're going to see when we get to round 9, 10, 11, 12, I could push him to the end and then him doing too many miles catch up to him. I haven't seen that.
They don't say that too. You'll hear that. You'll hear that. You know, hey JR, you know it, buddy. You know these jokes.
Man, what? Selling wolf tickets and everything.
No, man.
So for people, we gotta understand, like when Fernando and them was coming up, when he fought Trinidad and David Reed fought Trinidad, this is Trinidad breaking dudes, like really hurting guys.
Breaking them, man. He was breaking them dudes, man.
I mean, badly. People knew it was bad when he beat Maurice Blocker, another legend from here.
Yes, indeed.
Because Maurice Blocker was known he was like the Holyfield of the lighter weight. Cause he get hit, come back and hurt you. So
he showed no mercy to Blocker. He gave him no mercy.
Man, no mercy. And it was like, man, it's because I think he dropped Trinidad early. Yeah, if I remember right, I think he dropped him early because it was known. It was known back then that Trinidad something you could drop, flash, knock down them early. And you know, those guys like Fernando and they was sitting there. They was like, man, we knew that Fernando could outbox him. Just like when I was mentioning earlier with the Loma thing. If you go look at the fight with Ross Thompson, you'll see Fernando, boom, step this way, boom, boom, pull back in front of him, pull Ross's glove down, boom, 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 pulling the glove. And then switching again to this side, boom, boom, boom. And that was what? 2001, 2002?
No,
so people gotta understand. Yeah, what? That had to be 2003 at the latest. Yeah. You know.
I think it was. Yeah, I gotta check the date, but I know.
Yeah, you might be right. 99 or so, like 99 or so.
Yeah.
So people gotta understand, man. Like, mine's the same old chicken, different seasoning. So but people gotta remember when he got hit in the first round from Trinidad. He was hurt because he went to the wrong corner. That told you how hurt he was. Because when he got up real quick. And then he went to the wrong corner when the bell rung. Came back. And he was fighting off of instinct a lot of those rounds until he fully recovered. Puts Trinidad down, hurt Trinidad. Right? But I never forget when we were watching it. And remember when it was I think it was round 11 or round 12. And he drops Trinidad. He hurt Trinidad. It didn't hurt him, didn't stumble him, but he landed a flush because remember they kept exchanging hooks. And they threw hooks again, and you saw Trinidad land his and Fernando boom and fell on his butt like real slow. Then he gets up, shakes it off, and then Dad was like, "They should stop it because he's already gonna lose on the cards." Now it's going to be, you could take some fights off of his career if you let this keep going. I remember Dad said that right when he gets up and I said, he did, remember, I'm still learning. So me and my cousin go, why, Dad? He said, because he that type of fighter that he going to do whatever you tell him to do. He going to fight to the death.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can save him from himself. You need to save him from himself.
Yeah, you was right. That was 2000.
2000? Okay. And he said that soon, I remember he just said this. Now, remember when they got back together and then he pulled back and he was looking for the hook again and then he threw a right hand at Fernando. Fernando did this.
Yeah.
and just fell real slow on all fours, and they waited up, like he kind of just crumbled. His stocks went up after that fight. His stocks were already high, but his stocks went up even higher. Remember, Mexican, it don't matter what race you are, you know when somebody gave they all and you tip their hat to them. But definitely for the Latino fans, that made him even more the Allen Iverson of boxing.
Love that, yeah.
They loved him even more. But at the same time, it was like, dang, man, that took a lot out of that kid. So, and I think that fight, and then going into the war with because even Oscar, he said that fight with Fernando was hell.
Oh yeah.
That was hell.
Oscar. Yeah, that was a good one. I didn't really think they was gonna fight. I was shocked to see that they end up making that fight happen.
Shoot, 20 million to make it happen.
True shit. And Fernando kept agitating him and calling him a sellout,
testing his manhood and testing his Mexicali, his lifestyle and everything. Yup. He was like, man, you know the difference between this Mexican and this Mexican? This Mexican has fucking balls.
Right.
That really bothered him. He was like, and he started saying in Spanish and everything, like, man, I'm a real Mexican. And he said he knows what he did. And people thought Fernando was just, bull jiving lying. No, he did something to Fernando that really bothered Fernando when they were amateurs, and he never let it go.
Yeah, that's true. He did. He was talking shit about Oscar for a long time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And people gotta understand, man, when it comes to those fighters and those injuries and things like that, it's about, it's a lot that goes on. It's a lot of fighters I would not name until their careers are long over with, that I know that had money on the table and I never forget one fighter said, I can't eat a belt.
He's right though.
He said, as beautiful as this belt is, as much as I worshipped this belt since I was a kid, that belt I can't cook this belt.
Hell nah, I agree.
And he was like, and he told me, he said, my shoulder, I could adjust my shot. Think about it. He said, I can adjust my shot. Meaning, for people who don't know, he could throw his jab, he could throw a left uppercut, but he couldn't throw his hook. So he was having trouble with his hook. And so he had to adjust his hook a certain way to where kind of because he knew if he turned it anywhere from here, intense pain to get to where he wanted to go. And that's just how it be, man. That's why I tell people, I don't care if I don't like you or whatever. I want to see you if you know what that 3 minutes feel like, get your money. Speaking of get your money, let's go to this final topic of the night. Caleb Plant, Canelo, and Edgar Berlanga. Now, why do I mention Caleb Plant in this, Uncle Sheep? Because at the press conference, we all know Sweet Hands is on the card, I believe. Sweet Hands is going to be on that card. But afterwards, he got off the stage, and they just left Cinnamon and Edgar, the main event, on the stage.
Yeah.
And Edgar, remember there was some jawing back and forth between Edgar and Caleb months ago. And then Edgar wound up getting the fight to fight Cinnamon. And Cinnamon was sitting there listening, and Caleb wanted to fight Edgar. It's easy money for him to beat Edgar. Big money, less risk, and Edgar said, yeah, going to do this, do that, not end up like that, bleep over there, get knocked out. And I'm like, and he said, that's what he said. He said, we want to use smarts, ring IQ, not end up like that, bleep over there, getting knocked the F out. And I'm thinking in my head, like,
right.
You don't look in the mirror often, do you? See, me, I'm honest with myself. I know what type of fight. I'll never forget when that was like, y'all know what type of fighter you are,
Exactly.
what your skills are, what your weaknesses are, where not necessarily weaknesses, but where aren't you as strong at, where you can get better at or try to sharpen up at, what is your money shot, all these different things. And for me, as an example, I always felt my speed and my feet were my gift, and my timing was my gift. And I knew that I wasn't scared to be in a fight. I wasn't scared to dig deep and walk someone down if I had to. And I didn't have, franchise Frankie Scarborough power, but I had enough blunt force, don't and a walk down power to I could make you respect me.
Right.
But my big power came from making you blink, and with my timing and my speed, and then put you out. Or I would go boom, boom, and like the first 3 shots be fast, sharp, precise, and the last 2 bricks.
Wow, bricks. Yep.
So and that, I knew that was I didn't have the gift that other certain fighters had, where they just touch you and it's, oh my God, no. And I was okay with that, because I knew that if I do it the right way, I could get the job done. If I listen to Dad, listen to Bubbles, listen to Uncle Nesto, I will be fine, because they're gonna, and Uncle Nesto, like, all we gotta do is play certain shots. All we gotta do is play certain, how I feel is that the human body is human body. Certain toughness another guy may have more than another, but if you're not blessed, young fighters, if you're not blessed with certain power that another guy has, how I always looked at it is, all it means is you just got to place your shot a little bit more sharper than another guy. You got to set it up and place it the right way, the way it should be, to get that guy out of there. And they'll go. And when you look at Edgar Berlanga, I caught some slack, Uncle Sheed, because of what I said about Edgar Berlanga.
Okay, what'd you say?
I don't know if it's his team. I don't know if it's him. I don't know. Maybe it was just a fan. I don't know. But I personally don't give a damn. The truth is the truth. All I said, Uncle Sheed, was he's a poor man's Tommy Morrison. That's all I said. I didn't say nothing else. That's all I said.
Where's the line?
He's a poor man's Tommy Morrison with a better outfit on. That's it.
Damn, you said.
Hey. The hell I do?
All he missing is Rocky Road. That's all he missing.
That's it. All he is.
Is he in Creed? He might be in Creed. He might make the next.
Bro, all he is a poor man's Tommy Morrison with a flashier outfit on and some chains.
Right.
That's it. Because at least Tommy Morrison had a jab.
He could fight.
Tommy Morrison had a jab.
Yeah, he did.
Like, I want to emphasize this again for people watching. Tommy Morrison had a jab. He had a nasty jab. He had a piston jab. Like his jab, for people who don't know, it was like Charlo. It was persistent, a persistent jab. But he also could do tricks with his jab. As soon as you got caught looking at his jab, and you started timing his jab to where you didn't want it touched, because he would aim for the top of your forehead. And the reason why he aimed for the top of your forehead, you'll see why as I'm telling you this story. If you look at some of his highlights, Tommy Morrison, he didn't aim at the top of your head because he was short. No, he actually was a decent height. He did it because he aims it. Okay, now you get top jabs getting there. So you start doing this, but now you start, instead of just turning the glove from your cheek, you started chasing it. You bring your hand out here. And as you bring your hand out here, you're pulling off. Next thing you know, he'll do this. And then he would jump in. He would leap in
Would.
and throw, and he would wind it. He would wind his hook from back here. He wouldn't even do it from here. He would wind it,
Yeah,
and he would do it. Pow! And next thing you know, you're timbering backwards. Like he knock you 4 feet away and then knock you down.
true statement.
You know, so
Oh man.
Tommy, what? Yeah, he is, Uncle Shea. Come on, he is.
Listen, I agree with you, man. That was a hell of an analysis, man. That was a perfect analogy.
Yeah, because I mean, Tommy Morrison, man, tip my hat to Tommy Morrison, man. Tommy Morrison could fight.
Well, yeah.
Tommy Morrison was a dangerous dude.
I met him in Kansas City at the Silver Glove. Now they used to be the sponsor. You know, the Silver Gloves back then was ran by the guy that trained them. Tommy Morrison.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I
didn't know that.
To won the old nationals back in Silver Gloves. For the
Dang.
Yeah. And Tommy came in there, I think at that one. Yeah.
Looking like a grown man.
Yeah. Yeah, he was grown. He older than me, man. Yeah, he older than me. Tommy Morrison was in the movie. He was in the movie
Rocky V.
Yeah, Rocky V. He wasn't fighting. He was there as a
this after. Okay.
He was older than me. He was a man in the 90s. So he wasn't a young fighter. He was already a superstar.
Established pro. Yeah. No, the reason why I said it was because I watched this documentary and they were saying like they would lie and say that he was a grown man because he could pass as it, but he was 15 getting in tough man competitions to win money for his family. Him and his brothers were getting in tough man competitions to win money for the family. You know, they're getting in there with these beer drinking older guys who can't last longer than a minute, who probably could handle themselves, but yeah, after that minute and a half, them dudes is done. And they wind up just collect the prize money and go on about their way unscathed, productive. They get in, they fighting, and then go fight in a real tournament that next week. Go fight in them tournament. And turned him pro, and he was fighting that almost every 2 weeks. I looked at his box like, I looked at his box rack.
He climbed fast.
Texas, Oklahoma. Back and forth. Kicking ass up and down the board, the Red River.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, he's what's the guy named John Wayne's cousin or nephew?
Yeah, nephew. Great nephew. Yep. Great nephew. Yeah. So, and you know his sons are pro. Both of his sons are pros.
I ain't know.
Yeah, one of his sons, B. Hassan Rahman's son.
Oh, for real? I did not know that. Yeah.
Yep, got in there with his dad's trunks on and beat him. He was like, I'm gonna pay. He wanted to pay homage to his dad and wore his dad's trunks and beat. Came back. He was getting out boxing. Came back and caught up to Hassan Rahman Jr. late. And Freddie Roach was like, he saw one of the sons came at the wild card, started boxing. He said, "You know who that is?" He said, "Nah." He said, "That's Tommy's kid." He goes, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I got as much time for him as he needs." So, but yeah, Tommy Morrison had a body game, and he had big shots. Now, what? Now with Edgar, confidence, cool. Happy he got to fight with Canelo. Tip my hat to him. But bruh, I would be surprised and I would tip my hat to you if you put on a better performance than Sweet Hands did against Canelo. Sweet Hands made Canelo have to think and work.
He had to break him down strategically.
He had to break him down. Like, man, Caleb had that Bama thinking. He was sitting rocking up, under, over. Then he started walking on. Come on, walk over here with me. I mean, he was taking Canelo on a stroll. Come on, take a walk with me. Walk over here. Come on, come back over here. Nah, come on. I'm like, God God, Bramble wasn't breathing hard or nothing. Caleb Plant, once again, it was a case of if I had been in there with anyone else that night, I would have won. That's all it was. And then when Caleb lost to Canelo, it was a simple case of if I was in there with anyone else that night, I would have won. Because he was in top shape. His breathing was on point. Just as it got to 9, 10, 11, 12, and he tried to coast through 7 and 8 so he could maybe pick it up late. Canelo started to figure it out. So what Canelo started to do, if for people who don't know, excuse me, I'm sorry. What he started to do was when Caleb would walk, because Caleb, you would think like, all right, I was wrong as I was watching the fight. I'm like, he got to start watching Caleb's feet. Count his steps. See how many steps is Caleb taking. And as I'm watching his feet, I'm like, dang, he can't watch his feet. Because it was no point in watching his feet. Because he was mixing up the steps. He'll do 5 steps. He'll do 2. Then he'll do 3. Then he'll go back to 5. Then he'll go 5 side to side and still go back to the right again. Instead of 5 sides, bounce side to side, then go back to the left. No, like he was really already thinking, I'm like, world-class stuff. World-class. So what Canelo started to do was, and his opening came when Caleb tried to take some rounds off to hopefully close it out late. When Caleb would pull to the rope here, he's in perfect position. He's tucked, protect. Everything is in an L shape, protected. Here, everything is in an L, back to an L, boom, boom, right? He started pulling, or I should say pushing Sweet, freezing him. So what he would do is pop, pop, boom, and then leave his hand on his chest. He wouldn't just put it at his head. Because if you put it at his head, all Caleb's going to do is either knock it down or dip and pull. Because what Caleb would do is his main punch to get out of trouble during that fight was catch, right hand, rock, under, over. And then he would dip, swing that back leg out, and he's gone. So what he did to keep him there, he would go pop, pop, boom, and then, but he would do it in his chest. He would put it in the pocket right here to keep him there, and then he'll go like, yeah, stay there, boom, boom. But as he's throwing hooks, what Caleb do? I'm gone. Yep, you missed. And it's frustrating. So what he did to finally get, if you watch, he started shoveling the hook, shoveling it. So he started hitting them in the hips. When he would freeze them, all right, hip shot. All right, referee ain't say nothing. Do it again. Hit him in the hip, hit him in the hip, hit him in the thigh. All right, now we in the clinch. Referee's on this side. Bang, hip, thigh, hip, thigh, hip, thigh. All right, cool. Lock his arm, hip, thigh. Boom. Now we separate. Then, soon as he started to get Caleb looking at that sequence, he then walks Caleb, because you know Caleb's going to feint and take that walk. He's going to take that stroll. Watch the difference in the hook from early in the fight to that sequence when he knocks him out, when he knocks him down and stops him. He then feints it. You could see Caleb sees it, because Caleb, for people who don't know, casuals, when you're in top shape, everything is slow motion. Because everything comes, everything. And Caleb moved before it even came, because he knew it was coming. Here come that hook again. I'm about to get up out of there. And what Canelo did was he goes, huh? And instead of shooting it like this, like he been doing all night, or boom, and then stiffen them, and then, throw whatever. Because when he would do this and stiff him and try to throw the right hand and the hook, all Sweet would do is boom, tuck it, boom, and then tuck it, boom, boom, and then he would even go here with both gloves and then pull back to the shoulder and do his thing. So now it turned into, yep, look at, and then he shoveled it, kind of like how Tyson caught, pick a person, but anyway, but I would say a good tape you could watch is Tony Tucker. He gets Tony Tucker walking there. It's almost like identical sequence. I forget what round. I'm sorry. Yeah, I forget the round. I'm so sorry. But basically, Tony Tucker with the flashiness of Tony Tucker can do. Frank walks this way, and Tyson shoveled it. Basically, instead of shooting it like this, Canelo did the same. He shoveled it, this bringing it upward, almost like a half and half. Shoveled it. So when he threw it, if you watch, when Caleb dips, he runs right into the shot. Foul. His eyes wasn't looking at the ground though. You know, you always hear me say, if you're gonna dip, do not look at the ground. Keep your eyes up on your guy when you dip and pull out. His eyes were looking up at Canelo. Everything is technically perfect with Caleb. He dipped and he dipped right into it. Pow. And then that's when he stumbled and he was hurt. And that's when he hit the canvas. That's how he caught. But the intelligence level, and Caleb, he said, man, that man made me think. The fight with Floyd helped him beat Caleb. Because like, I've been there, done that.
Right.
Ain't no way in hell Edgar gonna make him do that.
Hell no, man. Hell no. You know, my good guy, shout out to my guy, Edgar Camacho Jr., right?
Oh.
He's really trying to you know, his Puerto Rican fellow
Yeah.
I understand, but he's like, do we stand a chance? Like, hell no. He stand a chance, a puncher's chance that's less than second to none right now. He's not winning this.
Man. Damon fought Edgar. Damon sparred Caleb and helped Caleb get ready for fights. Okay. Damon was doing a simple feint and walk and was making Edgar reset his feet. Now let's lighten the feet up and put some more tricks with the feet, and you got Caleb playing. He's not gonna be able to do. And now you got Caleb playing. Now let's demote that and put decent movement, but not super fast like Caleb, but got just enough movement and tricks with the feet. You got Cinnamon. He's not gonna find Cinnamon. As big as he is, he's not gonna work his. I don't got him working his jab enough.
Nah.
I don't got him. I got him being right there to be picked apart because he doesn't move his head.
He's gonna be brave. He's gonna get picked apart, just like you said. Yeah.
And to close the show, I'm gonna use this as an example, Uncle Sheed. After he fights Damon, people want to erase this fight. He fights this guy. I forget this guy's name, man. Oh my god! I'm gonna send you the fight because you can look at it on his box rate. He fought this guy right after he fought Damon. It was on ESPN page. This dude, I mean, ain't got a lot going with him, but could do everything. But ain't got a lot going on. This dude beat the mess out of Edgar, dropped him, hurt him. And they gave the fight to Edgar.
Wow.
And I'm gonna send you the guy's name. I'm gonna send you the tape. I'm gonna send you the link. That dude gave him the blues that night. And you're gonna say that, oh, I'm gonna do this to Canelo and all this other stuff. Dude, you don't even work your jab enough.
Right.
It's just like how I was saying about Big Baby earlier. Top Rank put the right guys in front of him to make him look good, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing, but you could have gave him somebody that he still could have beat that was a different look. So he's ready for when this time comes. Now, every time you done put this guy in there with somebody that got a little something here with him, they give him, he might win, but they give him a lot of problems. And you're going to say, oh, I'm going to do this under my ring IQ is going to beat Canelo. Now, I would have respected him more if he said, I'm naturally the bigger guy. I'm a muscle him and I'm going to fight like the bigger man, and that's what's going to beat him. I was like, you know what? I can respect that because he's much, much bigger than Canelo. You just got to establish jab, and then when he get on the inside with him, muscle, throw him around, throw him all over the place.
Right.
No, he didn't say that. And you expect us to believe that? Come on now. Come on now. You know, so but if I could see them having him fight, but the thing is, though, people are like, how did he get this fight? How did Edgar get this fight? People forget 2 years ago
He was a
going on,
boogeyman. He was the
yeah.
boogeyman as well.
And he started to believe his own press clippings too. He started, remember he knocked the guy out, he jumped up on, it was during the COVID fight, no fans or nothing, so you could hear everything, whatever. He jumped up on the ring. Hey, Dre, he gonna say Dre. So, I mean, that's just not how I was raised. I always say Mr. or whatever, but basically he go, Dre, I'm a monster. Like, bro, no, you're not. No, you a guy with a big punch. You're a guy with a big punch. But you don't even know how to utilize your big punch. Once you get, and I never forget Dad said he can punch, but when you get to the top 15, he gonna have some problems.
Hell out of him. This telling me for Canelo going to basically just look good off of him, man. So everybody know that. It's just gonna be a boxing clinic, a boxing punchers clinic.
Yeah, but also you gotta remember, Uncle Sheet, they had to give him this fight. Because people are forgetting when he left Top Rank and he signed with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, the deal in the contract was a 3-fight plan. I think a 3 or 4-fight plan where it was going to be he goes home to Madison Square Garden, which he did. Then he fights another guy. And then by the 3rd fight, they set him up to fight Canelo. That's what the contract was.
Right.
So guess what? There you go. There you go. It was already set up.
Wow.
And people are conveniently forgetting that contract was public and was said a couple years ago, this is what it's going to be. And they're setting them up for this. And even the comments then was saying, like, man, he ain't ready for no Canelo, whatever. This boy can't even cut off the ring yet, work his jab up and down, which is unreal.
Canelo know he ain't ready for him. That's why he
Canelo he still got to respect him because, you know, the boy can hit. But at the same time, that punch got to get there. And as long as Canelo don't get old, he should be able to pull, let him throw that stuff, pull, bing, wah, bing, bing, wah, boom, boom, boom. Like, just really make him look bad, break this kid down. Because I got a feeling it's going to be a body shot that frees him, and then an uppercut hook up top that's going to really buckle him. I could see it being that.
Yeah, because there ain't no exercising for chins, I tell you that much. I know it's neck exercise you can do and stuff like that, but man, Canelo gonna pick this man apart. Then he ain't not fighting one of his homies, you know what I'm saying, from his country or of his country. They Mexicans and Puerto Ricans when it comes to boxing, they a traditional rivalry that's very, very seriously taken. So
yeah.
JR, man, you crushed it again, bro. You crushed it again.
I appreciate y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, my producer, surrogate uncle, Rashid Heyman. Thank you, man. Thank you for the opportunity as always. Shout out to our sponsor, Second Wind Sports Media, Rob Vegan, Charm Bache, Big Roy, El Paso. You know, guys, y'all slide through, man. You really want authentic Latino food, authentic good food, and good people. Like, this is a family-owned business, family-ran business. And you feel at home when you walk through that door there. And I still owe him a picture of me and my dad. He wants an autograph picture of me and my dad. Put it up there beside the real double R, Rihanna Rios, who's up there as well. And I have to get that done for him. But any of those any fights you guys have, even if it's not a fight night, just any day I want to go through there, trust me, you're going to enjoy the food. But once again, y'all, you know, everybody who knows what I went through just to get to this point, I thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate y'all. Hillcrest Bloodline, stand up. Till next week, y'all. See you guys.
This episode have been brought to you by Raw Vegan Plant-Based Protein Powder, the undisputed champion of plant-based protein powder. I got mine. It's time for you to get yours.